Welcome to On the Radar, our weekly weather chat where we talk about all things weather. I'm Kate Doyle from ABC Weather, still coming to you from my kitchen while I continue to work from home. Now, it is an absolutely beautiful day in Hobart. I hope you're also having a wonderful day. Now, today on the program, after that jazzy intro, we're speaking to our very own weatherman, Graham Creed. Now, he's retiring, which we're all sad about, but he was kind enough to join us from his beautiful farm. And then we're going to have a look at the number of amazing images that came through on Weather Obsessed this week. So stay tuned. So, for this week's show, the long-serving and long-suffering ABC weatherman Graham Creed has been kind enough to join us. Now, he's zooming in from his new farm, but his weather career started all the way back in 1985 when he started working for the Bureau of Meteorology in Melbourne. Since then, though, most of you will know him as he's been gracing our screens as the afternoon's weather presenter on ABC News 24, as well as those of you in New South Wales recognising him from the 7 p.m. bulletin. Now, Graham is saying goodbye to us after 14 years working for the ABC, and he was kind enough to join me on Zoom earlier at his beautiful and frankly quite idyllic farm. So here's what he had to say. Thank you so much for joining us, Graham. It looks idyllic.
Yeah, it's not too bad. I'm struggling, but I'm getting there.
Yeah, I was going to ask why you were leaving us, but it's very apparent from the background.
Yes. Look, we've had this farm for around 9 years now, and we've just slowly been trying to build it up. And it just got to that point where we could no longer maintain it and work full time at the same time. So we made the decision that we were going to head up here and make the most of the beautiful countryside.
Well, I mean, fair enough. I'm very jealous. I guess what we wanted to do today, though, was perhaps step back in time a little bit and ask why you got into meteorology in the first place.
Look, it's something that I often think back into. I don't know that there was one specific thing that made me gravitate towards weather. As a kid, I was always interested in it. I suppose I was always taking photos of sunsets. If there was a thunderstorm, I'd be out in it watching it. There are a couple of key events that I remember really quite intimately. Cyclone Tracy, so waking up on Boxing Day, hearing about that. The bushfires in Victoria, so the Ash Wednesday bushfires, and the dust storms that developed ahead of that through Melbourne. Also, went through a tropical cyclone when I was around 19, so remember that quite avidly as well. And that really sparked my interest in weather, and it just sort of grew from there.
Wow. You've clearly been around a lot for a number of years now, and one of our audience members wants to know the story of how you came to wear ties on TV.
Yeah, look, I suppose when I first started, I was not meant to wear a tie, and the makeup department didn't get that email. And so I started off with ties, but then management said, no, we don't want you to wear a tie. So I took it off. And then there were so many complaints that I wasn't wearing a tie that I had to come back on. So I'm not a suit person. I don't like suits. I don't find them comfortable to wear. And a tie with that as well is just, I find it really uncomfortable. I'd rather be in a T-shirt. But if I was going to have to wear a tie and a suit, then I wanted to choose the tie. So that was always just something that was my little bit of choice in there.
Well, you carried it off beautifully. Another thing that our audience wanted to know is how have things changed sort of technology and forecasting wise, perhaps from when you got started in this gig to now?
I suppose when I first joined the Bureau of Meteorology, that was in 1986. So if I take you through the decade that I worked for them, the changes there were really quite phenomenal because everything we did when I first started was by hand. So we were measuring instruments by hand. So the rain gauges, temperature, it was all handwritten, and it was sent by telex to the regional forecasting offices. Many people wouldn't even know what a telex was. It's just a card that has little holes punched in it. As time went on, that became upgraded. The instrumentation was upgraded. Automatic weather stations came online through that period. And so I've seen a lot of changes there just through my job when I was working for the Bureau of Meteorology. But since then, forecast models and satellite images, these have all made a massive leap in the availability of information into forecasts and even just what's going on around you. So just having radar online, it's just phenomenal. Whereas, radars were just something you had if you were actually sitting in the radar looking at it back when I was working for the Bureau.
Wow, and you've kept up with the changes beautifully. Another question we've had coming in, perhaps on that kind of note, is what's going on with the amazing sunsets and sunrises across the East Coast over the last couple of days?
Yeah, look, we've managed to sit and watch some of these ourselves, and the key to it is the volcanic dust from the volcano in Tonga. Now, when that volcano exploded, it put volcanic dust to around about 30 to 40 kilometres into the atmosphere. Now, this is in the stratosphere. So it's all our weather occurs in the troposphere, which goes up to about 16 kilometres. And beyond that, you then move into the stratosphere. So all this dust is floating around. It's a bit like a pool, really. It's like that bushfire smoke back in 2019 that was circulating the globe. Well, that's what this volcanic dust has been doing. And it made its first circumnavigation of the globe over the past couple of days. So that's why we've seen these really glowing skies at sunrise and sunset. The interesting thing is that, during sunset, you can actually see the meteorological sunset, which is when the clouds change colour. But as the sun goes over the screen and it starts to go dark, that was when the volcanic ash was illuminated, and it was also bending and refracting the light. And that was why we were seeing such vivid colours in it. It was really a spectacular thing to watch. And even at one point when we were watching it here a couple of days ago, even though the sun had set about half an hour ago, it actually almost got brighter, just the reflection of the dust. And it was really quite a stunning thing to see. And the last time I've seen it was when Mount Pinatubo erupted back in the Philippines. And that was, I think, 1992. It was a long time ago. So it's not a common occurrence. So if you manage to get to see it, it's something worth remembering.
Well, I'm very jealous, and you got a great spot to sit and look at the view there.
Yeah, it's not too bad. we quite like our little farm view. It's 360 degrees. I can give you a quick little
gorgeous.
tour around. So I'm just sitting on the veranda at the moment. And so we get to watch some pretty good thunderstorms out through here. I'll just whiz past the house. And then we go back out the other side. So we're just in a little valley in just outside of Stroud in the Hunter region of New South Wales. So it's on the border, really, of the Hunter Valley and the mid-north coast.
Oh, yeah, still got a few good storms there.
Oh, yeah, we do. We get it, and wind. That's the one thing about building on top of the hill. You are going to get wind. But in days like today, we've got the sea breeze kicking in, and it's really quite pleasant.
Okay, great. So you've obviously left our screens. What is the next project then? What's the plan with the farm?
So we do garlic, and we've got bees, and so we also have proteas for flowers. So they were planted back in April. We've got some finger limes. We're hoping to do. We've put a couple of dams in that we can use for irrigation. So we haven't totally decided exactly what we're going to do, but we'll use all our little microclimates to grow different things, so that hopefully through different seasons, different years, some things will flourish and others won't. But overall, there'll always be something that's producing.
Well, that sounds amazing. Will we still get to hear from you from time to time?
Well, I'm doing all my radio crosses at the moment in New South Wales, so Newcastle, Sydney, Illawarra on the ABC, and also statewide drive. So I'm still there on the airwaves, but not on the TV.
Wow, well, I hope you keep sharing some of those lovely photos with us on Weather Obsessed. Thank you so much for joining us, Graham. I'm incredibly jealous.
Thanks,
and best of luck with the next project.
Thank you.
flood watches and warnings current, Graham?
Oh, look, there certainly is, Juanita.
Thunderstorms have affected parts of the state today, Graham.
Yeah, they've been very active. It's a much larger cyclone that we've seen with Anthony. It won't be a shock for you to find out Australia is an island and we are surrounded by oceans.
What is it, Graham, that makes a storm super?
Well, Juanita, literally across New South Wales, any rainfall should generally be less than 5 millimetres. We should see drier conditions for the weekend and next week.
Thanks for that, Graham.
Thanks again, Graham. You will be sorely missed around here. And my bad, yes, he started in 1986. Not 85. Sorry for aging you there, Graham. So if you're just joining us, I'm Kate Doyle, and this is On the Radar, where we chat about all things weather. Now, Graham wasn't the only one who was lucky enough to see some spectacular sunrises and sunsets over the last few days. We have been simply flooded with beautiful photos that have been coming into Weather Obsessed, and I have a few to share with you here today. So if we start up north, in Mackay, with a bit of luck, we've got this image from Mark. Now, he captured this beautiful glowing tropical sky. Now, further south at Image Flat on the Sunshine Coast, Damien captured this magnificent dawn at around 4 a.m. on the 13th. Now, the number of you who are willing to stay up all night or get up ridiculously early always astounds me, but keep it up because I love seeing them. South further again, still in the Sunshine State, we have this magnificent sky captured by Gavin Dukes on Valentine's Day in Toowoomba, facing away from the main sunset. So you can just see that amazing glow in the sky. Then we have what I'm calling the East Coast Bridge Love Series, starting with this beautiful capture of the Story Bridge in Brisbane, again on Valentine's Day by Kelly Hertford. Then that's followed swiftly by this stunning shot of the Sydney Harbour Bridge by Paul Christina, obviously in Sydney. And then rounding out the trio of big East Coast cities, we also have this spectacular shot of the pedestrian bridge there in Melbourne, thanks to Mike Launder. Now, I'm not going to skip Tassie, don't worry. Down in Tasmania, Adam Apple captured this beautiful view, again on Valentine's Day. No bridge, but I promise there is a bridge just behind where he's standing there. So close enough. Now, I don't want to miss, it's not just all about the capped cities. We've also on the East Coast had this beautiful snap from Susie Zaru in Gongalan in Canberra. Now, you can really see the glow in this particular shot. Now, we've also got this beautiful image from Fiona Calvert on the Pacific Coast on the central coast of New South Wales. But don't worry, I'm not going to ignore the west. We have this beautiful sunset from Muttonbird Beach in Albany from Nev Clark. And finally, to finish us off, we had this phenomenal sky at Silver Sands Beach in Mandurah, posted by the ever lovely Barbara Martin, who is always a joy to have on the group. That's all we have for the show today. So thank you so much for joining me on the radar. Now, we're still gearing up with this series. So if there's anything that you would like to see on the show or any suggestions, please do let us know. Now, next week, the plan is to talk about animals and how they respond to the weather. Now, this conversation has been triggered by my colleague Zoe, who claims to be completely smothered by her cowering dogs whenever there are storms around. So if you have any similar stories that you would like to see included in the show, please do let me know. Other than that, a general reminder, as always, ABC Emergency is the go-to place for emergency information, and we have a little information about that coming up. But in the meantime, I'm Kate Doyle, and this has been On the Radar.
We love the Aussie lifestyle. From the bush to the beach, there's an abundance of beauty. But when beauty becomes the beast...
No. What can I do?
Get the latest information and updates from every region in one place.
We've got reporters right across all of the affected regions tonight.
The ABC Radio, reliable source for information.
You keep us informed.
Stay connected with ABC Radio, the Listen app and the ABC Emergency website.